Hello everyone and welcome to the Harrison Tobit Motorsport channel. Today we'll be looking at the F1 predictions for 2025. Let's get straight into it. My last pick and 21st is Jack Doohan. I think everyone knows that Jack Doohan has a clause in his contract that he has to kind of be removed from the seat if he isn't performing after a couple of races. And with the kind of stacked pack that we have right now, with the Haases, with the Williams, with the Aston Martins, all in that like midfield battle, it's going to be difficult for Doohan, a rookie, to come in and perform. So I see him kind of being 0 points after a couple of races, and Flavio Briatore at Alpine being like, okay, we're going to bring in someone else, because I don't think he's a fan. I'm a fan of Jack Doohan. I like Jack Doohan. He's funny. He's a nice guy. He's good at F1 at racing. I think he came like F3rd and F3 a couple of seasons ago. So he's got solid credentials, but sadly, I still don't think he's got the backing from the team. So 24th for me. Then we move on to Sauber. And I have Bortoleto here. I think Sauber is going to struggle to score any points all season, so there's not much separating the two Sauber drivers for me. So Hulkenberg is above him in 19th. And obviously both of these drivers are good. Their Audi lineup for 2026 with their new car is one of the best on the grid. You have a back-to-back F2, F3 champion in Bortoleto, and Hulkenberg, who's one of the best midfield drivers there is, apart from Sainz and probably Alonso as well. Maybe not, depending on his age, but still, Sainz and Alonso. Hulkenberg is probably the next best option. So, one of the best lineups for the midfield, but the season isn't their season. I think they showed testing they were terrible, and that's going to perform. So, 20th and 19th for Bortoleto and Hulkenberg, respectively. Then I have 18th, and most people will think that Colapinto is going to be coming in at Alpine, but I think it's going to be Paul Aron. Personally, I think Paul Aron's a better driver. We saw in F3 last year, or F2 last year, that Aron was outperforming Colapinto, and I think it was reasonably close. And then the year before, with Aron kind of nudging him out in F3 in 2023. So, with Oliver Oaks at the helm, who used to be Aron's team boss at High-Tech, I can kind of see Oliver Oaks saying to Flavio Briatore when he removes Jack Doohan, hey look, I like Aron, I know Aron, we've seen this data from the first couple of races where he's been in the sim. Let's put him in. If he doesn't work, well, you still have Colapinto, you know? They're on the search for their driver, and I think they'll gamble with Aron, at least for a couple of races. I think he'll do the job. So for me, Aron is 18th, and he'll get at least some points in the season. Then, Stroll in 17th. Last year was bad. I think he came like 13th in F1, which is rough seeing as his teammate came 9th and was best of the rest of after the top 4 teams. And Stroll really needs to be 10th. Like, their car last year was much better than any of the other cars in the midfield. They should have been 10th, but he wasn't. I think he's going to fall even further back now, given that Aston Martin kind of tried off towards the end of the season, and Stroll tried off with it. So yeah, 17th for Stroll. Then move on to Racing Bulls with Hadjar, who I have in 16th. Now he came in second in F2. I think he's going to be okay. I think it's going to be a tight decision between who stays in 2026 between him and Tsunoda, with Lindblad likely deserving a call-up after his F2 season. But yeah, I think Hadjar will do okay. I think it's a very tight midfield, as I said before, with a lot of strong contenders in there now, like Ocon, Alonso, Sainz, Albon, Gasly, and sadly Hadjar's he doesn't have experience. He never struggled first half of the year. The car looks like it's struggling as well. RB had a good car at the start of last season, not towards the end. He might get a point here and there, but nothing substantial. Then we have the two Haases and Behrman and Ocon in 15th and 14th respectively. So Behrman being outmaneuvered by his more experienced teammate. I think Ocon will come in as the team leader and be a bit more aggressive, because you know how everyone knows how aggressive Ocon is towards his teammate. And with a rookie coming in off a dreadful year, I think Behrman came 12th in F2, which is way below where everyone had him. Behrman might struggle to find some kind of form, especially after crashing in his last F1 outing in Brazil. So Ocon will edge him, I think. I think Behrman will find his confidence and start doing well towards the end of the season, but by then it'll be too late. And Ocon will be kind of outperforming him consistently. But still, it'll be a close battle. But then I have 13th, Tsunoda for Racing Bulls. I think this is a fine point. I think the Williams car looks like it's going to develop better, but I think Williams will kind of win that midfield battle and come 5th. But I think then Aston Martin 6th, and then Racing Bull 7th, and then Haas 8th, Alpine, Sauber. But we still have Tsunoda here, because he's just a fine driver. I think the Racing Bull's car's going to struggle. I think he's going to outperform his teammate throughout the year, but yeah, I don't think he's going to stay with Racing Bulls in 2026. Yeah. Then we have in 12th, Albon. And I think Albon's going to be beaten by his teammate, Carlos Sainz, and finish 12th. In that Williams, which I think is going to improve. Honestly, this is a great kind of step up for Albon after finishing 16th last year. Going to 12th is solid. I think that would be something that Williams as a team was happy with Albon being beaten by his teammate and finishing 12th. Especially as he is a race winner and Sainz as his teammate. Above him in 11th, I have Pierre Gasly down in an Alpine. I think at the start of the season, the Alpine's going to be fast. I think they might trail off towards the end as they struggle with car development and kind of move their focus to the 2026 regulations. But at the start of the season, that's where they're going to get their points. They're going to carry on the momentum from this year, and they're going to put all their eggs in the Gasly basket until they've kind of finalised and locked down that second Alpine seat. Whoever it's going to be, Dillwyn, Aaron, or Colapinto. And in 10th, breaking into the top 10 after being removed from Ferrari, is Carlos Sainz in 5th. I almost put him at 9th, and kind of being the best of the rest. But something about Aston Martin, I feel like they have the resources to kind of improve the car over the course of the season and get Alonso back to where he should be, around scoring points consistently every race. But I think Sainz, at least to start the season, will score points consistently. I think like he might even pick up the Lawsons, the Antonellis, who are the top cars who might struggle at the start of the season. So Sainz might be a bit better than them, finishing 5th and 6th in some races at the start of the year, and then kind of as the kind of development cycle plateaus out, he'll fall back into like 8th to 12th each race and be solid. But yeah, I think he's going to be one of the best drivers this season and one to look out for. I think he'll definitely have like that fire in his heart and kind of the openness to kind of prove everyone wrong that he can perform at a top team, even if it is a midfield team in Williams. He can bring him back up to the top. Above him, we have 9th in Alonso. As I said before, best of the rest. I think their car will steadily improve and they'll start to score points well at the end of the season, back to where they were at the start of last season. Above him, in 8th, we have Kimi Antonelli. Now, he's going to struggle, and Lawson is above him in 7th. And both these rookies are in new teams. I think their fight is really with each other. Both Mercedes and the Red Bull have looked shaky at the start of the year. I think they're in a similar boat, where they're looking forward to the new regulations, but also know this is a great time to win a championship. Everyone's so close. So if you put the money in and you put the development in, you might get something out of it. But these two drivers are going to be very similar cars, very similar situations. Experienced teammate, one that they know they're not going to beat. But can they beat each other? I think Lawson has a lot more experience and will kind of keep it steady a lot more. But Anton, I think he's shown in his outings that he can be a bit more sporadic and Bennett at times. I think we saw with his F2 journey that he struggles at the start of the year, but he'll come and be solid towards the end of the year. But I think Lawson will kind of be solid throughout the year, and then even kind of improving towards the end, towards that like where he should be for Red Bull. But yeah, I think Lawson will edge Antonelli out this season anyway. And then in 6th we have Russell. I think out of the top 4 teams, there's a clear pecking order. For me, it goes Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, then McLaren in terms of car pace without the drivers involved. But Verstappen is a beast, and he's going to smash any car that comes up to him, as in like he's just going to race them hard and beat them. I think Russell doesn't have that same mentality and will not be able to achieve more than the sum of the car. He'll be able to get the most out of the car, but he won't be able to exceed those heights of that car. So I have him in 6th, and then I have Piastri in 5th. And I think this will be due mostly down to trying to win the the driver championship for Norris. As we've seen last season, a lot of team orders. So we could see Piastri kind of dropping some points to have his team out in that constructors battle. Verstappen might have the same issue. Lawson's not going to be up in the top ends of the race, trying to get in the top 3, top 5 of the championship. He's just going to do what he's told. Piastri, he's going to want some points, but he's also going to actually probably revert to doing what he's told if Norris is in the hunt for the championship. So I have him finishing 5th, just because of that dynamic. It's a weird dynamic with team orders at McLaren. I think that's going to continue and be more persistent in 2025. Then we have the 2 Ferraris and Hamilton and Leclerc. Hamilton in 4th, Leclerc in 3rd. I think Hamilton will struggle to get into that team. You have it's Leclerc's team, you know. He was born and raised there. It feels like anyway. He's their baby. Hamilton's going to come in and try and disrupt the apple cart, but I don't think he will. I think he'll kind of come in with a learning mentality for 2026. I know 2025 is a great time to win a championship, to win his 8th World Championship, but I don't think he'll. I think he'll struggle at the start of the season, even though he's trying really hard, and then kind of realise that 2026 is a better year for it, and kind of put a lot more effort into helping the team, growing those team bonds, and I think that will sacrifice his championship standings and allow Leclerc to kind of prosper more as Leclerc's more stable in that team. I think they're going to have very similar years. I think both of them are going to have 1 or 2 great weekends where they win a race or they get on pole and then they get podium, stuff like that. But for me, it's very close between them. But I just see Leclerc has the ability of the team. Hamilton having to adapt to a new team that speak mostly Italian. It's going to be a bit more tricky for him to adjust. And then in 2nd place, I have Lando Norris. I don't think he'll be able to edge out Verstappen. I think the kind of development that the Red Bull are on, they've kind of shifted their focus away from their original ideas and been a bit more flexible with what they're doing, and they adopted the flexible wing until Barcelona anyway. So they might have a bit more competitiveness throughout the season. I think towards the end of the season, that's when you're going to see Verstappen really come back and be like, okay, I'm going to put my foot down. You might be a couple 100 points ahead Norris, like at the halfway point, but he'll bring him back. He'll reel him in. I think he'll edge him out. I think Verstappen just has that ruthlessness that Norris doesn't. I think Norris might be a bit more frantic, especially as it's his first one, similar to what we saw with Max when he won his first one back in 2021, I think it was. So yeah, Verstappen for me wins. I think it's going to be a close battle between the top 3. I think Leclerc might be in it, Norris might be in it, but Verstappen just has that ruthlessness that will see him through. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below, where I'm wrong, where I'm right, who think you will win the championship, who will get dropped from the season. Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching as always. Peace.